Welcome back to the channel, Book Dragons. I know that you have just been itching, dying even, to find out how I make my YouTube videos. And if you haven't, that's the video you're getting today anyway. Now, there are three types of viewers that may really find this video helpful. The first kind of viewer is someone who is currently a YouTuber or content creator, and they're looking for just tips and tricks that they can maybe do to add to their video creation process, maybe some new editing tools, things like that. So if you're watching this and you're that particular person, I hope you enjoy this video. This may also be for people who are looking to start doing YouTube, whether it's BookTube, which would be awesome. Love to have you in the BookTube community, but maybe you're looking to do another type of niche and you're wanting to figure out how to get started, what are the best ways to go about it, what kind of equipment you might want to look into getting, that sort of thing. So if that's you, welcome, I'm glad you're here. And then the third type of viewer is probably just one of my many followers who just loves watching my content and wants to see how I do it, how the cookies are made, how the videos are put together. They just want to know all the ins and outs of how Chaz does it. And if that's you, I'm so glad you're here, and you're going to get all that information today. All right, so my eyes are going on. There they are. Oh, my glasses are a little bit dirty. I'm going to go ahead and clean those. And don't worry, I'm not going to edit this out. So you're getting the nitty gritty of Chaz trying to make sure he can see to read notes on the subject. So yeah, okay, there we go. Oh, I can see. Okay, so here we go, guys. We're going to start by talking about how I generate ideas. And the main way I generate ideas is just by brainstorming. You know, I'll sit down and I'll think of 2 or 3 ideas a day that I think would be cool to make videos about, and I will jot them down in my Google Keep. I use Google Keep on my phone. You probably can't see that, but anyway, I use Google Keep on my phone, and it has all of my different notes, and sometimes I color code them. I'll make them different colors for different ideas. So that's where all of my video ideas live, is in Google Keep. That is where I jot all of my ideas down that I have brainstormed. Now, I don't just brainstorm ideas. I do look up ideas as well. I'll look up on the internet bookish ideas for YouTube videos, different things like that, just to kind of get an idea of what people are looking for, what people are putting out there in terms of their videos. Maybe I'll find an idea that I think is really cool, and I'm like, oh, you know, maybe I could do that, or maybe I could adapt that to fit my particular channel. So that's another way that I go about generating ideas. And along with that is the research tab on YouTube Studio. So there is an app for YouTube Studio for your phone, or you can go to YouTube Studio on the computer as well. And there is a research tab, and what that will do, it will tell you about terms that people are currently searching on YouTube. It will show you some of the latest videos that have come out with ideas that are popular. So it's YouTube's way of giving ideas to creators that they might want to look at. And so I do get ideas from the research tab as well. Not as many. Usually I come up with a lot of my own ideas, but I do look at the research tab for inspiration, and I've found some pretty good ideas on there, so that is very helpful. And then the other way I generate ideas is when I get tagged in tags from other YouTube creators. So, you know, the book tags are really popular. I try not to overdo it with book tags, but I've seen a lot of book tags that I think are really fun, and so I will take a screenshot of the video description for the person who tagged me, and then I will copy and paste everything from that into Google Keep so that I have an idea for my next tag video. So there's lots of great ways to generate ideas, and I use a variety of them because at the end of the day, if I want to keep up the content generation the way I've been doing it, it's important to have new and fresh ideas. And sometimes I'll keep my ideas on a separate note in Google Keep, and sometimes I will just write it down on a note that has a long list of just generic ideas that I've been cogitating on and ruminating on, and what's another aiding word that I could use? But anyway, so that's how I get ideas, and that is the very first step in my video creation process, and I'm pretty sure it's most people's first step. So the next thing I think about is scheduling. And if you are on the Discord that I'm a part of, that's the Dragon's Den Discord, then you will know that in my particular section of that Discord, I have a channel that is for upcoming videos. And in there I put the date and the name of the video that I'm planning to do, and I usually do that a month out. I try to do it a month out so that people can kind of keep up with what I'm planning to do. And so I will have a list of dates with the video topic next to that date so that people can look at it and say, oh, here's what Chaz is planning for next Tuesday's video, or the following Tuesday's video, or something like that. And I don't just do that for my subscribers, even though I do it for them, but I also do it for me, because that helps me remember, oh, yeah, I planned this video for this date, so now I've got to start thinking about that. It helps me plan ahead if I've already written it down. And I could keep something like that in Google Keep, but if I'm doing it anyway, why not put it out to my followers and say, hey, here's some things you can get excited about that are coming up on the channel. So scheduling is the next part of my video creation process. I've got the idea, now I want to schedule it and figure out when I'm going to do it. Now, that schedule doesn't always pan out. It is always subject to change, right? So, like this month has been crazy for reading for me. I have only finished one book this entire month. I'm still working on 3 other books, and I don't know if I'm going to finish it by the end of the month. So, I will usually put on that video schedule book review TBA, because I don't know exactly what book it's going to be a review for, but there are times where I'm just like, you know, I've got a book review scheduled, but that ain't happening because I don't have a book to talk about. So I've got to figure out something else to put in that slot. And so I will change topics for different dates. The only thing that does not change is my release date. Unless I am deathly ill or I'm on vacation and something came up and I just wasn't able to pre-record a video for that date, you will always see a video from me on Tuesdays and Fridays. It never fails. That's always when my videos release, unless something comes up. So that never changes, but the topics do change. So I really try to keep to a set schedule for video releases and a somewhat set schedule for video topics. But it's subject to change. And it's good to keep flexible. It's healthy to be flexible because things come up. And, you know, sometimes I'm just not feeling like the topic that I scheduled for that day. I'm like, you know, I don't feel like a deep dive into the Malazan Book of the Fallen. I mean, I wouldn't do that anyway, I don't think. But just an example, right? That's a very heady topic and requires a lot of time and energy to put into it. So depending on how I'm feeling on recording day, I may not want to film the video that I have scheduled. So scheduling is important, but flexibility with your scheduling is also important. Okay, I've belabored that point long enough. Let's move on. So, filming is next, guys. Now, when I started this channel, I started filming on my phone for the first 3 years of my channel, and I'm coming up on 5 years, guys. Almost 5 years. For the first 3 years, I filmed with my smartphone. That is all that's necessary. You do not have to buy a fancy camera. If you don't have a lot of money and you want to start a YouTube channel, do not buy a camera, guys. Your smartphone is a perfectly good camera. And it's nothing fancy. Please don't feel like you have to get fancy with it. I just, I set up what lighting I had. I set up my smartphone on a tripod, and that is how I filmed. But as of right now, I do have a camera. I bought myself a Sony ZV-E10, and I'll leave this in the comments below if you want to know what my equipment is. I'll leave links to everything below. But I got myself a ZV-E10 from Sony. Really great little camera. I did a lot of research before I got it, and I used some of my money from my Patreon to put toward that purchase. So my patrons did help me with purchasing that camera, and I just want to take a minute right now to throw out here a big thank you to my patrons who support me. And if you'd like to be part of supporting me as well, you can scan that little QR code that you see on the screen there. That would be great. So let's come back to the camera. So that is what I film on, and I've got a microphone mounted on the camera with a wind guard and everything. So that's great. And I have my lighting setup, which I had a hard time figuring out when I moved to this new setup here. So, but I have it right behind the camera now. That's what's giving the light here. And it's just a box light that I found on Amazon. It's great. And as I said before, guys, I'll leave a link to my equipment down in the description below. But moving on, I get my camera set up, turn it on, film my video, make sure that all that's ready to go. I go ahead and strike a pose for the camera so that I can use that for my thumbnail later on in the creation process, and we'll talk about that. But that way I'm not having to figure out what picture I'm going to use for a thumbnail, because it's directly from the video I just filmed. And that's the easiest way for me. And then once the video is over, it's all done, turn off my camera, and the next part of the process is I take the SD card out of my camera and I put it into my SD card reader, which is awesome. And this is an Anchor SD card reader. Highly recommend it. It just fits right into the SD card reader, and then I plug the card reader into my smartphone and I download it directly to my smartphone. And I've toyed around with some different editing programs in the past, and I haven't really found one that works better for me than the one that's on my phone, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But yeah, so after I've filmed, the SD card goes into the card reader, plugs into my phone, download it, and I am ready to start editing. And the program that I use for editing is called LumaFusion. As I said, I've looked at others, but this still works the best for me, and it's right on my smartphone. And you may be saying, Chaz, how the heck do you edit on your smartphone? I mean, yeah, guys, it's a little small, right? But I've gotten used to it, and there it is, LumaFusion. It's pulls up there, and I've got all my editing tools. It is a full-fledged video editing suite. Now, there are some things that are missing from some of the more modern ones. It probably doesn't have all the fancy stuff that Adobe has or Final Cut has, but it works. It does a great job of editing my videos. It's easy to use. I've learned it. And it wasn't cheap. I think when I first purchased the program, it was $20. And you're probably thinking, $20 for a smartphone app? Just hold on, guys, because, I mean, you're going to pay several $100s for a full-fledged suite on the computer. If you do the Adobe Creative Cloud to edit with Adobe, I mean, you're just going to be paying tons of money every month for that. So, $20 one-time purchase, and I get all the updates all the time. All the updates are free. I think it costs $30 now. I might be mistaken, but I think it's $30 now. But still, well worth your time if you're looking for a good video editing app. But again, guys, you don't need a fancy video editing app. For the longest time, I edited with iMovie. Just the basic stock video editing software that comes with iPhone and other Apple products. And that's how I did it. I did it with iMovie. You don't need anything fancy. But if you want to upgrade, LumaFusion is a great program. So I load my video into LumaFusion and I begin the editing process. And one thing that helps me with the video editing process is this mantra: do not reinvent the wheel. If you can do presets for certain things, do presets. Back when I had a video intro, it was a preset. I created it and I used it over and over. I just saved it to a file and I added it to my video at the beginning, and away we go. It's done. I didn't have to do anything else to it. The music was already there, and that was great. The little dragon that you saw at the beginning of my video that I'm using now, that's a preset. I just put it together and use it in every one of my videos. I keep it in a folder that's called Always Use. I know that sounds silly, but I labeled the folder Always Use, and that's where I get my stuff from. I keep it all stored in there. So I've got a preset for that dragon thing that spins that you saw at the beginning. I've got a preset for my outro with music. I've got a preset for my patron graphic that you saw a few minutes ago. I've got a preset for my subscribe buttons that you see pop up here every now and again. You might see it right here, right now, you know. So things like that I have presets for because it speeds up my video creation process. When I was first editing videos, I was just doing everything all over again until I got into a routine and realized, you know, I should probably have presets for all this stuff. That way I'm not constantly doing extra work all the time to make my videos. It helps so much, guys. Use presets. They are your friend. And that's what I do. I use them. And I am not ashamed to say that I use them. And then after I am all done with editing the video and putting all my screen captures in there, if I'm showing books on a video, I'll usually have screen captures of the books unless I have the physical book. You know, all of that stuff goes into creating that video. That's the final step, is to put all those pictures in there and load them up. And then I save it to my phone. And the next step in my creative process is to create my thumbnail. Now, you can use a lot of different programs out there to create your thumbnail. I use Canva. It's the most user-friendly and the most robust program that I have found for making thumbnails. I absolutely love Canva, but there's other programs out there. You don't need to use Canva. But Canva is free. They do have a subscription option, and I am actually a subscriber. That's one of the few business tools that I pay for because it gives me access to a lot more options. One of which I really like is background removal on my thumbnails. So, you know, the bookcase that you see behind me, I can cut myself out instantly without having to go through a lot of mumbo jumbo because I pay for the app. But there's other features of the paid service as well. So that's one of the few things that I actually pay for what I do. But you don't have to pay for it, and you can still create really great thumbnails with Canva. So I highly recommend Canva. There's others out there though, and Canva's what I use to create my thumbnails. It's what I use to create my video presets. I do a ton of stuff with Canva. I really do. So I go in, I take the snapshot that I created during my filming process, and I upload that to Canva, make my edits, remove my background if I need to, all that good stuff. Put my titles on there. They have really great title features on there for both free and paid users. And once that's all done, I download the thumbnail. And then, guys, it is time to go to the YouTube mobile app and upload my video. There is a feature now on the YouTube Studio app to upload videos as well, but it doesn't work the greatest right now. So the YouTube mobile app is where it's at. I go in there, I upload my video, and I take the thumbnail that I just created and I upload that as well. And then I just wait about 10, 15 minutes for it to finish uploading. And then I can do all the other necessary stuff like adding my description. And we're going to talk about my description now because I use a preset, guys. Remember I talked about presets earlier? I use one for my description as well. Or you can think of it as a template. But basically anything that saves you time, you want to use it. So usually what I do is I will go and copy from one of my previous videos. I'll copy and paste it into the description for the new video, and then I will modify it to suit the needs of that video. So it's just a basic template, but I do change some of the information. I'm going to change the chapter headings for the video. I'm going to change the people I've tagged, if I tagged anybody. I'm going to change some of the information about what my video is about for the day. So there are things that I change. I don't just copy and paste and never change the thing. But it does help to have a preset form that I always use to put in my videos. Because that way, I'm not reinventing the wheel. And it saves a lot of time. And then, guys, the next step in my video creation process is to release my video. And I do that in 2 stages, okay? My patrons get it a day early. So when I upload the video, it's always unlisted. That way it's not public and not everybody can view it, but people who I give the link to can go and watch the video. So I give that link to my patrons. They're able to go watch the video a day early. That's one of the perks of being one of my patrons. And then the following day, my actual release day, I just go in, click edit on the video, make it go public, and it's public. And then I just go and share my links on Discord and Facebook and things like that, just to share and let people know, hey, I've got a new video out there. Maybe you'd like to see it. And, I would love it if you would like to see my new video. And that's it, guys. That's my step-by-step process of how I make videos. Now, there are exceptions, right? Every once in a while I do YouTube shorts. Not very often. I'm still kind of figuring that piece out. And I sometimes do live streams. I haven't been doing them as much recently, but I do still do live streams. So that's a whole different process because that's auto live, right? It's automatically live as soon as you start the live. I know that sounded weird, but so there are exceptions to this process, but my general day-to-day process for making my regular videos on my channel follows this format right here. So I hope that was informative for you. I hope you are excited about that. I hope you enjoyed every little tidbit of information of the behind the scenes about how Chaz makes his videos. And if you were completely bored out of your skull, that's fine. I completely understand. If you didn't stay till the end of this video, I get it. I do. It's fine. If you skipped ahead with some of the timestamps, that's fine. So, not every video is for everybody, but I thought that maybe people would enjoy hearing about how I make videos. So that's all I'm going to say, guys. I am done. You don't have to listen to me anymore. Just make sure that you click some of the links on that end screen if you want to watch other videos of mine. And guys, make sure you read more books until I talk to you next time.